Hear that sound? Scientists say that's not music. That's Saturn itself, sending out real radio waves into space. For hundreds of years, people looked up at Saturn and thought it was the most beautiful planet in the solar system. A giant golden ball surrounded by glowing rings, just floating peacefully out there in the dark. But here's the thing, they were wrong about the peaceful part. Saturn is not calm, not even close. Scientists describe it as a violent giant, a ball of hydrogen and helium gas spinning so fast that it actually squishes itself into the shape of a pumpkin. Underneath those pretty golden clouds, researchers have found monstrous storms, a bizarre six-sided hurricane at the North Pole, and gravity so powerful it can rip entire moons to pieces. Yeah, Saturn tears moons apart. Let's talk about that. From Earth, Saturn's rings look like smooth, solid golden bands, like jewelry floating in space. But astronomers say that up close, it's a completely different story. Those rings aren't solid at all. They're made of billions of sharp chunks of ice and rock, ranging from tiny grains of sand all the way up to chunks the size of mountains. All of it is flying around Saturn at thousands of miles per hour, crashing into each other, breaking apart, and smashing back together. Scientists describe the ring system as stretching nearly 300,000 kilometers wide, but in some spots, it's only about 10 meters thick. That's thinner than a house is tall. So where did all that ice and rock come from? Researchers believe it came from a murder. A long time ago, a moon, possibly as big as Saturn's largest moon Titan, got too close to the planet. It crossed what scientists call the Roche limit, the point where Saturn's gravity becomes too strong to escape. The planet grabbed that moon and tore it apart, ripping the crust right off of it, shredding an entire world into trillions of icy pieces. Those beautiful rings everyone admires? Scientists say they're basically the leftover remains of a destroyed moon. When people look at Saturn's rings, they're staring at a planetary graveyard. Here's something that seriously confuses scientists. Nature almost never makes straight lines or sharp angles. Storms and fluids almost always move in circles and spirals. But at Saturn's North Pole, researchers have spotted something that shouldn't exist, a perfect six-sided storm, a hexagon. This isn't a small thing. This hexagonal storm is wide enough to fit for Earths inside of it. The walls of this storm reach hundreds of kilometers down into the atmosphere. And right in the center sits a massive spinning vortex that scientists say looks like a rose made of hurricanes. It has been spinning for decades, possibly centuries, and nobody fully understands why it holds that perfect six-sided shape. Every 30 Earth years, which equals about 1 year on Saturn, something wakes up inside the planet. Scientists call it the Great White Spot. It's a storm so enormous that it wraps all the way around the entire planet. Researchers say that lightning inside this storm is 10,000 times more powerful than any lightning on Earth. The storm churns up white ammonia ice clouds from deep inside the planet, turning the normally golden Saturn into something that looks like a ghost planet. It's a reminder. Scientists say that underneath those calm-looking yellow cloud bands, Saturn is basically a giant engine of chaos, just waiting to explode. Saturn has over 140 moons, and most of them are just frozen rocks. But one of them is completely different. Scientists call it Titan, and they describe it as the most Earth-like place in the entire solar system, and also one of the most terrifying. Titan is the only moon anywhere that has a thick atmosphere, with air pressure actually higher than Earth's. From the surface, a person would see rivers, lakes, and rain clouds drifting through the sky. It genuinely looks like home. But researchers point out that literally everything on Titan is wrong. The rain isn't water. It's liquid methane and ethane, basically liquid natural gas. Falling in slow motion because of the low gravity, the temperature sits at around -179 C. Scientists say that if someone jumped into one of Titan's lakes, they wouldn't just freeze, they'd shatter like a piece of glass. And those sand dunes covering the surface, researchers say they're not sand at all. They're dark hydrocarbon grains, essentially plastic, hundreds of meters high, shifting around in the alien wind. Scientists describe Titan as a world that looks like life, but is built from the ingredients of death. Even further out from Saturn sits a tiny moon called Enceladus, and astronomers say it might be the most important place in the entire solar system. For a long time, scientists thought Enceladus was just a boring frozen rock. Then they spotted something strange, long blue cracks at the South Pole, which researchers nicknamed tiger stripes. And from those cracks, the moon is basically bleeding. Giant geysers of water vapor shoot hundreds of kilometers straight up into space at supersonic speeds. Scientists explain that Saturn's gravity is constantly squeezing and kneading Enceladus like a ball of dough, keeping the inside warm underneath all that ice. Researchers have confirmed there's a global ocean of liquid water, warm water with salt, heat, and organic molecules. Astronomers say that in the deep, dark, pressurized ocean beneath Enceladus's frozen shell, shielded from the emptiness of space, something might actually be alive down there. Humanity went to Saturn looking for gas and rock. Scientists say it's possible we found neighbors instead. To figure all of this out, NASA sent a spacecraft called Cassini to study Saturn up close. For 13 years, Cassini flew around Saturn, photographing its rings, studying its storms, and helping scientists make all of these incredible discoveries. But in 2017, Cassini was running out of fuel, and NASA's scientists made a tough call. They couldn't just let the spacecraft drift around and possibly crash into a moon like Enceladus, because that could contaminate it with Earth microbes and ruin any chance of finding alien life. So they sent Cassini on one final mission, a death dive straight into Saturn's atmosphere. Researchers describe how Cassini fought to keep its antenna pointed at Earth the whole time, transmitting data back to scientists right up until the very last second. But Saturn showed no mercy. The heat and pressure tore the spacecraft apart. It melted, vaporized, and became part of Saturn forever. Here's something that surprises most people. Saturn's rings are actually disappearing. Scientists say gravity is slowly pulling the rings down into the planet in a process they call ring rain. In about 100 million years, which is a blink of an eye in cosmic time, the rings will be completely gone. Saturn will just be another gas giant sitting alone in the dark. So scientists say to look at it while there's still time. Saturn is a temporary masterpiece of gravity and violence, a beautiful trap that pulls humanity across the solar system, only to show everyone just how small we really are. It might be the most beautiful thing in the night sky, but researchers agree on one thing: beauty can be deadly.